All right, time to change the oil on the ST1300. I wanted to do a quick video on how I do it. The manual says to do it every 8,000. I do it at 5,000 intervals. It's a little easier. You know, right now I'm at 25,000 and change, so that lets me know it's time to do an oil change. So I set up my little table here to show you exactly what is needed to do the oil change. You need 3.9 quarts, so obviously I got 4 quarts of motorcycle specific oil. I'm using 10W40. The manual says 1030 or 1040. Seeing I live down south, it's a little hotter, so I go to 1040. Oil filter, I'm using a high flow HF204. Use whatever you want. A 17 mil socket for your drain plug, funnel for the oil, a little screwdriver to take off the little cover that lets you have access to your fill plug, and obviously a oil catch can. So the way I do it, I just put it right on the side stand. Okay, I don't remove any of the body panels like you typically see. I think it's just easier this way. You kind of want it on the side stand to begin with because the drain plug is actually on this side of the bike. So leaning it over actually helps the oil drain. The bike's already warmed up. All right, so we're down here on the right side of the bike. You look underneath, here's your valve pan. And there's a nut on this side right here towards the front that needs to come off. So I'll just crack it loose, then slide the pan underneath, and then I can let the oil drain. Okay, it's cracked loose. And I can reach right underneath and likely not get too much oil on me. Well, while it's draining, I'll go ahead and remove what's needed to get to the fill plug. So you have this piece here, and this little plastic piece here, there's a center section you gotta press in, and then you can slide this out and it pops right out at that point. And before you put it back on, let's see if I could do this with one hand. You got your pin here that's pressed in. You have to push it actually further out, and then that way when it's back in place, you put the plastic piece back in and push down in the center so it's flush. And I'll show you that in the video. Okay, now that we have this plastic piece off, we have to remove this cover to have access to the fill plug. So what I do, I pull up on the front. You'll feel it pop. It's like a rubber grommet with a peg, and then the whole thing needs to move forward. Okay, once that's done, you can slide the rest of it out. And you can see the tabs here have to catch to this bracket. Then the part you pull first is this rubber part that goes on this pin here. And that's that. Then we just gotta slide it off here, which I need 2 hands. So the filter's right there. I take the center stand, I put it down, I reach behind, spin it off, and then it comes right out. And upside down in the pan. So putting on the filter, I don't fill it up with oil because it's a side mounted oil filter, so I don't see the point in filling it up with oil if it's just going to dump out. But I do clean the surfaces on the engine where the oil ring of the oil filter matches up to it to seal it, and I do put some oil on the oil ring itself. So I'll go ahead and spin that back on just like we took off the old one. Center stand down and slide it right in. Okay, There's that. Now put my wrench back up in there, and I'll tighten her up. There is a torque value for this, but I just do it by hand, and it's always worked for me. But you guys do whatever you want. Okay. And there's also a torque value for the drain bolt, but I'll go ahead and put that on the video so you guys know what it is. Okay, now that we got the filter and drain plug all put back together, time to fill it up with oil. On the valve cover, you got the fill plug right in the center here. And typically, I blew mine out with the air compressor, but it's usually pretty clean there. I'll pop that open. Okay, put my funnel in, and then I'll go ahead and put the probably 3.5 quarts in, and then start checking it. Okay, so we got the fill plug back in, and what I was mentioning before with the fill plug, let's see if we get on camera, right there. So you'll see that there's 2 lines on the right side of that fill plug, and we are right on the top line. So now with the oil filled up at the appropriate level, I'll go ahead and start the bike. And what I'll do, I'll make sure there's no leaks or anything like that. So everything looks good there. And usually I'll wait a minute or so and check the oil, but all right, we let it sit for a minute, and as you can see here, we're on the upper end, just past halfway towards the top mark. So we're good. And that's how I do the oil change. All right, time to put the cover back on. Just slide it up in here. Put this back in first, and then this just pops in. Okay, then we got the cover, and as I mentioned before, the nub is up. Put it in the plastic piece here. Okay, it goes into place, then you just push it flat, and then it sticks there. So likely that's similar to some of you that are doing the oil changes already, but that's the quickest way I found to do it. Obviously when I'm not filming, it probably takes me at most 15 minutes. But yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. All right, thank you.